Line's good.
Never on.
Whoa.
Hard. Hardly.
Come on, Brent.
Line's good.
Got real close.
The hair high, right?
Try and hit 2/3.
Have they saved it for her? Yes, they have.
Ooh, welcome to Game of Stones, everybody. I am Sean Graham Scott on site at the Leon Center in Kingston. Hello, Scott.
Oh boy, Sean.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So let's get right into it, buddy. A lot going on in Kingston today. We have spent over a week in Kingston, seeing 19 draws worth of games. And Scott, today we were able to eliminate one more team.
Yeah, one more team. This was like so much fun. The scenario that you laid out to me before the draw started,
Yeah.
almost happened.
Yeah.
To get 5 teams in. 5 teams all tied at the same record. But
Yes.
The way it shook out, we have Alberta, 10-1, number 1 seed.
Yep.
Team Saskatchewan winning against Newfoundland Labrador, Sean. They needed Ontario to beat Northern Ontario to sew up that 2nd seed.
Yes.
If not, it would have gone to, I believe it would have gone to last draw, last draw shot, and they would have slipped down to 4th place.
Okay.
With the 8-3 teams. But for the first time in the history of this format at the Brier, we see 7-4 teams making it in.
Yeah, so
having something to play for.
Just crazy. So we have 4 teams tied at 7-4. Team Canada, they get a win over Jason Gunliston. That's the team that's been eliminated. They were eliminated this afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
So a pretty easy, straightforward win, it seemed like, for Kevin Cooey there. Northern Ontario, as you mentioned, they fall to Ontario. Ontario brings them back to 7-4, and Alberta cracks a 3 in the 10th to win 4-2 over Mike McEwen and Team Wildcard. So we have now tomorrow, Wildcard will play Ontario, Northern Ontario will play Canada early. The 2 winners will play in the afternoon, and then the winner of that will play Brad Gushue tomorrow night in the 3-4 game.
Yeah, so there's a double tie breaks. The 1-2 game, as you know, was scheduled to be at 7 p.m.
Right.
Barring no tiebreakers, but now with the need for a double tie break, the 1-2 game is pushed to 2 o'clock. The 3-4, whoever comes out of those two games earlier in the day, they're going to have to play a 3rd game, and that's going to be a long day, right?
Yeah, because it's not just the 3 games; it's the 3 games that are elimination games, right? We've seen this in events before, where playing 3 games on the Thursday has been very detrimental to teams if you had to play a tiebreaker Thursday morning. So now we're pushing that into a playoff format. Who I think, Brad Gushue lost, and obviously if they won, they would have been in the 1-2 game. But they kind of won here too, I think, by getting whoever they get.
Yeah. So I tweeted it out as Stu was reading it to the crowd, who was going to play.
Yeah.
Ontario Wildcard, Northern Ont versus Team Canada. The winners advance, as you said. So, and Sean, not only is it 2 elimination games, it's 2 elimination games against really good teams.
Yeah.
To get to a pretty rested Brad Gushue, who is in their own right a really great team.
Yeah, but I mean the 7 teams that are still left are all great. They could all win this event, right? In sort of any permutation.
You'd think. I think Saskatchewan is still their game this afternoon. They sort of made a great shot to win it.
Yeah, that's how they won tonight too.
At the end, and tonight the same thing. Like, they seem to be behind the 8 ball a bit, and then just like they make a great shot. Like the hashtag Dunny Money.
Yeah, don't give them a shot.
Is the way it is, and like I don't think that they can win the whole thing.
But I don't know how you can say that now. I really
you're
don't.
right.
They're in the 1-2 game.
You're right. No idea.
they're 2 games away from winning it.
They are. And I'm looking out here, Sean, on the sheets, and we have been usually seeing teams practicing. Today we are not seeing any of that. We're seeing Team Botcher doing a bit of a debrief out here behind sheet B, and Adam Kingsbury and Matt Dunstone sitting there talking. So they're sort of probably, like Adam said yesterday, deciding what to do for dinner, or looking at the NBA scores from the West Coast starting to come in, stuff like that. And who knows? But it's what a bonkers day.
Yeah, really crazy day. Let's talk a little bit about what happens there. So we'll talk. I'll talk about the TV game, the Northern Ontario game. That's the one obviously I watched here in Ottawa, and it was a really well played game, I think, all around. But Ontario just came up with those shots. The 3 and 5 was obviously the key there. Brad Jacobs got into some trouble early in that end. A couple missed shots, a couple off the guards. They almost made a triple there at the end, but couldn't quite pull it off, just a millimeter off, and it just went underneath a stone. So it was sort of in the 7 o'clock, sort of 7:30 position to a stone just behind the tee line on the left side of the screen as we're looking at the overhead there, and they were trying to rub off to one all the way over at the 3 o'clock position, and it just went underneath. The shooter did, as they were trying to go around the horn there. Great effort.
Good try.
Yeah, but they get that 3 there, and Jacobs is able to fight back, get a 2 and 7, and then gives it right back in 8, which was a little tough to sort of deal with that. And then in the 9th end, I think the 9th end was the key here.
Yeah, you're right.
Jacobs is sitting 3. All of them are touching the button when Epping goes to throw his last and makes an absolute beauty shot to remove one of them and make a very difficult draw for 2 that Jacobs just can't make.
Yeah, and I tweeted from our account there that I might have tried to play the intern with a bit of weight and maybe you can get rid of 2 of them that way. The way that, I also said that's why he's down there making shots and I'm up here. But the danger with that was that you weren't going to get second shot, and then it was a free draw for 3.
Right.
But he did get second shot, and then Jacobs tried to play it, and it overcurled and only got 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I almost gave up a steal even, right? If you'd thrown it a little harder.
Yeah. It was pretty close, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it was. Vic was very worried.
Yeah.
As the stone was coming down.
He did. I sort of had one earbud with the broadcast on.
Yeah.
And yeah, he had a lot of moments of panic tonight, moments of big calls.
Yeah, Vic was in the zone. This was classic Vic. It was great. So right next door was Saskatchewan, Newfoundland, and Labrador. Mentioned it. Matt Dunstone makes the shot to win on his last one. This is just what he does this week, it seems like.
Oh yeah, and it wasn't an easy shot too. It was definitely there.
Yeah.
I think Gushu's last one sort of stuck out a little bit too much, leaving that opportunity. But Gushu's team played 92. Dunstone's team threw 90. Everyone was on fire all night. 3 blanks in the middle weren't typical running up and down blanks. They were like trying to get stuff going and then not having it work out. I was a little surprised that Gushu tried to get his 2 in the 9th. He had a chance. There was just the Newfoundland Labrador stone in the house, nothing else out front or in the house. And he, drew open to try and get his 2. And, in hindsight, you look at that and you say maybe you try and blank and keep the hammer for the 10th and get your 2. I'm of the school that I like to be up without.
Yeah.
That's sort of what they chose to do, and this time it didn't work.
Right, and I think what you do there is what he did. You draw open and you say, well, if you make a double, then okay, then I'm fine. Right, you don't. Right, you're not going to be crushed if it's a blank. But
Right.
I don't think it's behooves you to ever turn down a chance to score two.
Yeah, I think that's fair, and just because this one time it doesn't work out for you, it doesn't mean it's going to be like that all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't have his stats in front of me for the season, but I can get them. Of being, 2 up or 1 up without versus 1 down with.
Yeah. On average, it's about 60%, right? That
Yeah.
You want to have that lead.
Yeah, which is why when teams like Kevin Cooey always do that, they want to be down with the hammer.
Yeah.
I always think what the heck? Why would you guys want to do that? But they're they sort of prove that it works for them.
Yeah, they're the best in the world. So.
Yeah.
So this time it certainly works out for Dunstone. Now, Scott, you had a chance to talk to Matt Dunstone after this afternoon's game, after another crazy finish for them, and a big win over Manitoba, where he sort of rubs one in, sort of ticks an outside rock that Jason Gunlickson had thrown, and very critical on the broadcast they were of this call, and he's able to, it's not quite a double, but he's able to move the Stones far enough to get to win 9-8 over Manitoba. So here's what Matt Dunstone had to say after this afternoon's game.
Pretty wild, isn't it? This is going to go down as the strongest Brier field of all time, and I have a funny feeling it's only going to get stronger from here. So it's great for TV, great for us players. I mean the atmosphere out there it's so tense, it's so exciting. It's a pretty fun atmosphere to be a part of.
Always fun when you make a big one during the game, too.
Yeah, that too. Exactly.
You guys had a big day yesterday. How do you regroup after that and come in today?
Yeah, you had to. We went 6-1 for a reason, to give us that little bit of leniency, and we spent our 2 L's that we could afford early, and put ourselves in must-win mode. The conversation yesterday was, we would have taken 6-3 at the beginning of the week, and the next one was, let's have fun with this. The atmosphere is unbelievable. This is the 8 teams that are here are the top 8 in the country, and it's just fun to be battling it out with them and just enjoy today. You could curl 95% and still lose out here. So just try and have fun with it, and take the W's if they come our way.
Did you see that shot right away as soon as Connor's last came to a stop?
Yeah, didn't see much else. I thought it was going to be a little tricky to stick for 2-ish. Obviously, we knew we couldn't hit it too thin. Just came up enough, and the little sweep from Oskey at the end helped her out.
So, Scott, there's Matt Dunstone, obviously in very good spirits after the afternoon game. Would have been in probably even better spirits tonight.
Yeah, he does seem, looking at him right now, he does seem pretty fired up. So, the way he talked about it there, he's in a zone where if he sees a shot, he can make a shot, and if a team leaves him something, I would be a little nervous leaving him anything.
Yeah, I agree. The way they're playing, or the way he's playing, it is phenomenal. So let's also talk about, let's just move across the street, Alberta and Team Wildcard game, Scott, where there were 6 points scored in 4 ends. So we had 6 blanks here.
Yeah, that one was pretty boring. I tweeted that I had stopped watching the Alberta or the Canada-Manitoba game because I couldn't keep track of everything that was going on, and that was sort of as Alberta Wildcard was getting into it. They were lots of rocks in play those last 4 ends. There was a blank in 9. 9 is at the opposite end of where the media bench is, so it's harder to see, honestly, what's going on over there. Plus, I had other games going on. But yeah, Mike McEwen was very disappointed with his last shot. Brendan Botcher was running, sprinting down the ice, basically, to play this around the horn double. knowing he didn't really have much to lose, right? They were in the 1-2 game.
Yeah.
And I think Molding tapped the rocks first, and Botcher says, "Yep, okay," and off they go. A brilliant shot that was left by a mistake by Team Wildcard.
Yes.
I saw Reed Carruthers down there in the marshalling area. He was the first team All-Star third this week, so he was waiting to get the award and the pictures taken. And I said, "Oh, congratulations on the award." And he said, "Yeah, but it's a little bittersweet right now."
Right.
Which is, fair enough, right? But they still got an opportunity to get into those playoffs. Yeah, they got to take the long road now. But, honestly, there's no shame in losing to Team Alberta the way they're playing this week.
No, not at all. And at least on TV, that shot looked... I hate to say it looked simple, but compared to some of the other, like the Gunlickson shot to win, for instance, right? It looked straightforward compared to that, but anything would look straightforward compared to that. It looked pretty natural, especially how hard Brandon Botcher can throw it. He threw it with the insern, so you knew it was gonna come off the stone that he was hitting a little lower, and go right into that the other stone and sort of come back with the around the horn. So it looked pretty natural on TV at least. So I have sort of had confidence that he was going to make it, just for how hard and how accurate he can throw it. I'll say this too, Scott, about Team Wildcard, that Vic was on the broadcast tonight. They talked a lot about they've been really playing a lot of open ends, a lot of blank ends. They have blanked 19 times, which is actually the same number of times that Alberta has blanked an end 4. Alberta's been involved in more blanks overall, but Alberta's scoring more points as well. So, Wildcard scored just over 6 points a game this week, but they were only giving up just over 4 3/4, but they've only given up 2 steals against. So they're playing pretty defensively, it seems. They're bailing out early. They're not giving up a lot of multiples. They're not getting a lot of multiples either, relatively speaking. So that's the strategy that they've seemed to have played. They were criticized earlier in the week, at least on Twitter, in one of the games. I can't remember which one, for playing a lot of blank ends. And Colin Hodgson was like, "Well, deal with it." That was basically his response.
Yeah.
Which is fair, I think, to have that response. So... You look overall when you're looking at tomorrow. I kind of hope that it's Northern Ontario, Canada, as the feature in the morning, just because of that.
Yeah, you'd rather watch teams that are willing to mix it up a bit. Now the thing is, Cooey has also had a lot of blank ends this week as Team Canada. Leading into today's games was 25% of their ends where they had hammer, they blanked. So. Not great.
No.
So, one of the things I did today, Sean, I tweeted this out. It was a pretty simple formula of adding the good things and subtracting the bad things from the percentages.
Yes.
So I only used percentages, and I took the multiple points scored for with the hammer versus stolen ends for, and I added those, and then subtracted the stolen ends against and the multiple points against as well. And the top teams for that, I would have said Northern Ontario was number 1, Canada 2, and Newfoundland 3. And none of those teams finished in the top 2, but they are teams that we're going to see this weekend, or at least tomorrow, playing. So that was a pretty decent guide for what was going to play out. Alberta was the next team down in 4th place on that sort of metric.
Right.
So I thought that was kind of a good way to have a high glance value and see what are the good teams here. Mm-hmm. The thing about that is Saskatchewan was not one of those great teams. They're when you add all those percentages together, they were at a plus 10. In 6th place behind the 5th place team was at plus 23, and then a big dip
right
down to Saskatchewan there. So For them to be at second place, I think there's a little bit of luck in it, and there's a little bit of like good shot making at the right time.
For sure. Luck, absolutely, right? James Grattan just absolutely cratering on Sunday morning after getting to a big lead. That's pretty lucky. Jim Cotter missing his last 2 shots in the 10th end to allow...
And Laycock one.
And Laycock missing one to allow a 4 in the 10th end. That's pretty lucky. Kevin Cooey missing a wide-open blank attempt in the 9th end to give you the hammer back. That's pretty lucky. So they have been the beneficiaries of some lucky spots here. But, as Matt Dunstone said in the interview that we ran already is, they lost the 2 games yesterday. Then they come out today and they win the 2 that they need to win. It's at some point that luck in an event, I hate to say the luck isn't lucky, but they're getting these opportunities. They've taken advantage of them. Now they're in as good of a position as anyone else, save Alberta, who is in a better position because they get the last rock tomorrow.
Yeah, you're right about that. They're in, and it doesn't matter how you got there, right? Like we say, there's no pictures in the box score.
Yeah, the 4 teams that are now scheduling wake-up calls for like 5 o'clock tomorrow morning would gladly switch spots with Saskatchewan and trade the weeks that they've had.
Yeah, absolutely,
certainly, no question.
I was hoping to go to morning classes tomorrow to learn a bit more, but this is going to be early.
It is going to be early. So let's talk about the team they'll be playing, Team Alberta. They get through at 10-1, 2 games clear of everybody else, and just, ho-hum, playing great. Not, just what I do like about this team, Scott, amongst some other things, but is that for as excitable as Darren Moulding can be, he's not nearly as up and down as he was. He's a lot more consistent, and there's just a positivity from the team. Like when Darren Moulding misses, he's more like, "Ah, shucks," than anything else, right? Like Team Canada was on the feature game this afternoon, and again, I don't know who's paying Ben's fines, but I hope it's not coming out of like his kid's college or anything. But you just don't get that out of this Alberta team, and in this era where all these guys are hyper competitive and super into the game, and I know those 4 guys are as well. It just comes across, at least on TV, really differently, and in person it does as well. There's just a calmness to them that I find kind of reassuring for some reason.
Yeah, you're right about that, Sean. Like Darren Moulding is a super chill dude. We've heard him many times on the 2 Girls in a Game podcast, and the little talk I had with him earlier this week. He's like much more zen about curling and life versus where he was like 3, 4, 5 years ago.
Yeah.
He's gotten on with the team that he knows is good. He trusts the skip, and their whole team is pretty chill. I had a chance actually to talk to Brad Thiesen this afternoon, Sean. Did you know that he has a voice?
No.
And
I was shocked when you sent me this file.
Yeah, it was pretty good because we never get to hear from him, it seems, with Botcher's always being interviewed and Moulding's always being interviewed. Carrick Martin, his dad is a pretty famous curler, so I talked to Brad Thiesen a bit. Let's take a listen to that.
Well, I wanted to say first off, congratulations on the birth of your new edition.
Yeah, thanks.
Just a week old?
Yeah, 2 weeks old now.
2 weeks now?
Just 2 weeks.
That's
yeah.
Right. Well, you'll.
And it was good. Yeah, like had the baby about a week before.
Yeah.
Then didn't get sleep for the full week. And I came here to get some rest. So.
Right on. Yeah, I'm sure you'll have a lot of duties once you get back home. Right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Right on.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Right on. Another good game for you guys today. How easy is it to sweep when your back end's curling 100%?
It's as hard as it always is, but
okay.
we're putting in a lot of effort out there. So, but Yeah, they're making us look good and vice versa, I think. So it's working out well. Like things are rolling for sure.
Yeah, right on. And sweeping the way you guys sweep is a lot of work.
Yeah.
What do you guys do during the event to make sure that you don't, lose too much when you're sweeping?
Rest as much as possible, I think. Yeah, that's what we try. Just as whenever we can rest, we try to get it.
Right on.
Yeah.
So back to the hotel or the house now for some
back
rest?
to the hotel, have a quick nap.
Yeah.
Come back for big game tonight against Wildcard, and hopefully things go well. Yeah.
Right on. So you're booked into the playoffs now, hey?
I believe so. Yeah. I was told we're in the 1-2 for sure, but
okay. Well, that's great. It's a position you guys have been in the last couple of years.
Yeah. It's a little bit better than the last couple of years, actually. Even Okay.
So do you guys lean on that experience from the last couple of years?
For sure. Yeah. Because we kind of know what to expect now, and we know how it feels. So, we're in a better spot than we were last year. We're one win ahead.
So good comments there from Brad Thiesen, and as he says, Scott, they are ahead of where they were the past 2 years when they made the final, right? They had to play in the 3-4 game both years. This year they get that 1-2 spot.
Yeah, so we'll see if they're able to take that and translate it into further success. It's hard to beat finishing second. You got to win, but I think right now they're the favorites.
Yeah, and I think you'd be hard pressed to say anything other than that they're the favorites heading into the weekend. But you'll look and see what happens with the game against Saskatchewan. They beat them yesterday in the first game of the championship pool 9-5, and that was the TV game as well there. It was tied after 8, so it was nip and tuck pretty much the whole way. Some misses both ways. I think Darren Moulding struggled certainly early in that game. His numbers ended up pretty good, but first half of the game he wasn't very good. But overall, it was an impressive performance.
Yeah. Like I say, there's not much to choose between these two teams here. If Botcher's on and Dunstone isn't, that's going to be the difference. I think it'll come down to how the skips play, to be honest.
Yeah, and I think too, pay attention, I think, to Braden Muscowie in this spot too. Well, Darren Moulding for that matter too. But this is, I know they won a Grand Slam. I know they won a curling World Cup event, but the Brier's different, and this is their first time now into the playoffs, into a really heavy spot like this. It'd be maybe being in that 1-2 game, it will be better for them because it's not an elimination game, so they won't press as much as what we've seen other times with this team. But just keep an eye on that, and to see if Kingsbury can make sure that the chatter stays up, that the good vibes, body language, all that kind of stuff that really does feed into making shots, just to make sure that continues through this game. And if they start to get tight, Brendan Botcher and his team probably won't.
Yeah, 100%. Sean, anything else you want to talk about? Because I think I need to go to the patch after that.
Yeah, I think you've earned it, buddy. The only other thing I'll say is that I think it's remarkable that we've been at this now for 8 days, and I've maybe said 8 words about Kevin Cooey. He's the defending champion. They're 7-4. They're into this. It's been so unremarkable how they've played. I think great. He's made the crazy shot to win. They've played well. They've done everything they need to do. 7-4. It's a good record. The game against Northern Ontario today wasn't great, but they're just a little bit off, and yet I still be scared of them if I was anybody else in the field, right? If I'm Brendan Botcher, part of me is maybe thinking, I wish I had made that draw to win last night and just put a stake through their heart, so that
right.
If they come through and if he sees them in the final or the semifinal, if he loses, it's not going to be a good feeling for him, or for anyone else for that matter.
No, that'll be a good storyline should that happen to occur. He could have dealt him the final death blow, and it wasn't able to do it. So yeah, that's definitely something to look out for tomorrow.
Yes. So again, the games kick off tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock. We have Wildcard and Ontario, Team Canada against Northern Ontario. The 1-2 game will be played tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock. That's Alberta, Saskatchewan, and the two winners from the morning will also be played. So a bunch of bonus curling there in Kingston. And then the 3-4 game, whoever gets through that little mini 4-team tournament gets Brad Gushu tomorrow night in a single sheet draw. So what would have been normally 2 draws of single sheets, Scott, tomorrow turns into 3 draws, 2 of which have double sheets.
It's all the more action to cover here from the media bench. It's getting really fun. Sean, I got a message today from 2 girls in a game saying, "Hey, where are you guys? Come say hi." So I did.
Nice.
I went up and met Lori and Mary, and it was very nice. And they were wowed at how we do so many podcasts. And what I told them was we go for quantity, not quality. Right?
That's what we do, yeah.
They take care of the quality. We're on the quantity side. All good. And you know, it was really nice to meet them and say hi, and they were super nice. So I just wanted to give them a little shout out.
Yeah, definitely shout out to 2 girls in a game, and yeah, very exciting that they're there, and they let us use their seats last weekend. So
yeah. Now I moved down to Katrina's seats.
Yeah, so you stole the seat of her.
Well, she's playing in a spiel this weekend, so
okay, that's good. All right, good stuff. So Scott, go sleep fast. We'll pay attention tomorrow from the arena. You're tweeting up a storm, doing a great job on Twitter and Instagram at Game of Stones Pod, as well at Scott Likes TV. I'm at Dr. Shawnee Fever to give the TV perspective of all the events. And of course, you can email the show, gameofstonespodcast@gmail.com, and follow along by subscribing to the show on Apple, Google, Spotify, Stitcher, wherever it is you get your shows. We're going live 2 more times, or nearly live 2 more times, Saturday night, Sunday night, for the 2020 Brier, and this has definitely surpassed our expectations. We knew it was going to be a fun week when as the provincials were going on, and this has been spectacular, been a lot of fun, and really excited for the playoffs. Somehow we still have 7 teams in contention, so it'll be a long day tomorrow, Scotty, but it'll be a lot of fun.
It'll be a lot of fun. I can't wait.
All right, so we'll be back with you tomorrow night, but until then, everybody, keep your brooms on the ice and don't dump that intern.
Make the final.